Welcome back, everyone. It's Andrew and Lainey at Microphonic Designs here at Denison High School in 2025. We were here last year, except I was with Wendy last year. And if you look back at that video, you'll have seen a bunch of like crazy mounting solutions for the microphones. Well, guess what? They, I'm pretty sure, have upgraded keyboards because today was a lot easier in getting the mics mounted. So let's first take a look at the plans for today. I have the official job jacket folder for everything this year. Here's Denison. So here's what we're kind of working with, and you'll see I made a few tweaks on the fly today. I did not account for the DTX, but it was an easy shift, easy to get in there. So you'll see we've got two vibraphones on side one, some marimbas in the center. We've got a vibraphone out there on side two, and then the electronics are in a very nice little pod in the back. And we're going to get them set up with a couple of new long cables to make it to their soloist stage. I'm not sure if it's going to be over here on side one or maybe over on side two. Wherever it is, they have a couple of plugins here on the Synth 1 cart to connect those cables to that are routed into the board. And then they also have a few channels of wireless that they're going to be able to use as well. So this is what the diagram looks like. And of course, we've got, you know, the updated cabling list as well as the updated input list. So we got all that stuff. I'll be getting that updated in the actual spreadsheet later. In the mixer, y'all know me. If you've been around the channel and you've seen some other videos, you know how I like to program these things. And sorry for the crazy blinking. That's just some frame rate stuff going on. We've got marimbas over on the left. We've got our three vibes right behind. Electronics are all together, and then soloists are all together. And this is actually the custom layer. So I've set up their stereo in. So the iPad channel is where we can play back music from the USB. And we've also got stereo input 2, which is this thing here, if they'd like to plug into that. We've also got the reverb volume. So if for whatever reason they need to turn the reverb down, like the actual reverb channel, this is where it is. We've also got 4 DCAs. So remember, DCAs are basically group volume controls. It stands for digitally controlled amplifier. We've got one for the marimbas, the vibraphones, the electronics, which includes Synth 1, Synth 2, and the DTX. And then we have one for the soloist. So if the staff over here has to make an on-the-fly adjustment to some volumes, you know, during a live performance, and let's just say that our 2 marimba players drank a couple of Red Bulls right before the run and they're just overplaying, well, they can just bump down the marimba DCA and that entire subsection will come down. So actually, while I'm thinking about it, I need to remember to go into Recall Safe and make sure that I enable Recall Safe on the DCAs so that scenes do not affect them, because we want to be able to make those changes and have them stick. And then I also forgot to do the DCA, or I'm sorry, the Recall Safe on not only the DCAs, but the stereo out and the subwoofer out. So basically what this page does is it prevents the scenes from affecting the main left-right output, the subwoofer output, and the DCA. So everything over here on the right-hand side is not going to be affected by scenes, so that if we need to make a change during a live performance, they're not going to change as we do scenes. So when they're in rehearsal, I'm going to encourage them, hey, make all your volume changes over here for scenes, and then over here is more for live performance adjustments if need be. So that's what we have going on in the mixer. And again, they can get a charge and play music through that, which is really nice. Down below, we've got the wireless units, and you'll see we've got 3 units of the SLX4s all in the G5 band. So these are the 3 main units that we're using, but they also have a BLX4 that's just in a different frequency band that is on standby if they need to use that one. Pretty sure this year we'll probably just be using the white and the blue, and these are plugged into the mixer ready to go. And then we've also got 2 PX8 amplifiers by Yamaha set up. So this top one is powering our full range cabinets on top, and then the bottom one here is powering the subwoofers down below. And they have one of the Pageantry Innovations MC20 mixer carts that combines the copper wiring inside the speak-ons so that we can just use a 4-conductor cable. And what that means is that the signal for the full range and the subwoofer is going through the same cable. It's not intermixing signals, it's just a more convenient way. Instead of having to run 4 separate cables, it's 2, which is really nice. Now moving out to the front ensemble, we've got the entire front row is basically a giant pod going into the same snake. So we've got marimbas 1 and 2, vibraphones 1, 2, and 3, and all the cables come in to the modular snake here. And you'll see Lainey's awesome color coding work, single stripe, double stripe. Y'all know how we do it. And again, this is just a really great look at keeping all of this stuff really good and clean. That's the primary thing. When we have a setup like this where most of the cables are really long, it's just about taking the extra time to make sure everything looks really good and clean so that it's not a distraction. Because imagine trying to hide all this cable behind the support rail, no way. Or even up there, that'd be even more of a pain in the behind. So we just make it look really nice. I'm not afraid to have cables showing because we make it look good. Same thing for some of these vibraphones, right? Just a lot of cable to manage, but we make it look as nice and clean as we can, and so forth. So here's like this vibe over here, right? We're just keeping it clean. And the same thing is going on down this way. So all of these keyboards plug into one another. They do have to go into the same spot every time. And this middle marimba has to be out every single day, even if that kid is sick, because it has the modular snake connector. But that shouldn't be too big of a deal. That's a pretty normal occurrence when you're using a mod snake. So front row keyboards, real straightforward. It's just a classic daisy chain to mod snake. And in the back, this took a lot of thought and a little creativity with the wiring, but I've chosen the open frame synth cart. This is synth 1 as sort of the hub for everything, primarily the modular snake. I wanted this snake to be able I wanted them to be able to make this connection easily, and we don't really have anywhere on this synth cart, which is awesome, by the way. This is like a classic band parent special synth cart. And anyhow, I wanted to put most of the stuff on this one just so that we could reach this mod snake. And so you'll see down here we've got the white and the double white for the DTX coming from the aux rack, and then we've got blue and yellow down here for our soloist sideline microphones. So for the mics that are not going to be wireless, that are on the sideline, this right here is exactly where they're going to plug in. And we've got like some DI box cable management stuff going on. Same over here. Aside from the power cord, which is sort of its own thing, we just got clean cabling, as clean as we can get it, up and around and up this way to the DTX. So that's that. So really, when they pack up for the truck, the cables get to stay on. The DTX will come off and they can just kind of tuck the cables away. And then the power cord, of course, will go in the box with it so that they know where it is. And then this synth card over here, we've got some extras out from setup today, so ignore that, that'll be away. But we've got all the extra slack shored up, mono DI box for this one. So the ModiX and the Casio are gonna be run in mono. We're gonna help them figure out a power supply situation for this because we were having some issues with the power supply connection. But we'll get that sorted. And yeah, that's it. So we got the DTX running in stereo, which is a left and a right channel, because that's like where all their main samples are going to be coming from. But then the ModiX and the Casio are going to be in mono, because this is probably going to be like their sub bass and like their piano. Like we can help that sound good in the mixer with a little reverb and you know, good playing, of course. So anyhow, that is the Denison setup. Again, the only thing we don't really have is the sideline mics, but we're going to hook it up with the cables. But this one came together really fast. I'm really proud of it. This is a good one. So make sure to drop any questions or comments below about this setup. Hopefully this may have given you some ideas on exactly how to do your front ensemble if you've got a slightly smaller group. Like this is a pretty moderate sized group. Like it's not gigantic, but it's also not tiny. Tiny would be like one marimba and like a xylophone. So this is definitely a decent sized group. So anyway, y'all, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.